guys, and welcome to another episode of the Franchise 80s podcast. Today, we're going to be talking Star Wars, and we are going to be talking Star Wars with the foremost expert on Star Wars, my good friend Richard Falcon, who I have on the phone. And Richard has recently heard some interesting news, or rumors, should I say, about how the new movie is going to end. Let's hear what you have to say. What are your thoughts on that, Richard?
Somebody was telling me that how it could possibly be the final scene.
So where did you get this information from, first off?
From a guy that I don't know if it's a guy or a gal, but somebody that I've been reading about for like years now.
Yeah.
Even like when they were making the prequels, I would read this person's stuff. And, they've been like, I don't know, about 80-90% correct.
Yeah, you were telling me he was right. So this is your source for Star Wars, pretty much.
Yeah, but it's not somebody that I know. It's just somebody that I read.
That you read online, yeah. So what? So what revelation do you have for me?
It's not really a revelation. It's just a rumor that supposedly the final scene of the next Star Wars movie will end with Kylo Ren takes the Falcon and ends up on Tatooine at Lars' homestead, and he says, that's where he lives off the rest of his days, while Rey will continue doing the Jedi thing, but they're not known as Jedis anymore. They're going to be known as Skywalkers.
Skywalkers?
Yeah, that's the name of supposedly of the new religion, or what Jedis are. It's no more Jedi. They're going to be known as Skywalkers.
Damn. So the Skywalker name becomes
will take the place of the Jedi name.
The Jedi name. Wow. Yeah. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this is just rumor and innuendo, like a little trivia guy says.
Well, that would be a hell of a tribute for Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. For Anakin and Luke.
Well, mostly with Anakin, Anakin and Luke and stuff like that. That practice will be known as Skywalker. So that way, when people say, I'm not a Jedi, I'm a Skywalker.
Yeah, and then Kylo Ren will just live off as a farmer, Tatooine.
Well, I don't know. It doesn't really go that deep, but it just says that it'll come full circle. Anakin was there, Luke was there, and then he ends up getting there and just staring off into the twin suns or something. I don't know, but supposedly he ends up with the Falcon, and then he ends up on Tatooine.
Maybe he'll calm down and not be so angry.
Yeah, well, I think by that time he's already kind of quote unquote on the good side, but. Yeah. I don't really think he's going to die, but I really don't think he's going to live happily ever after either. I think he's just going to...
Do you think he's going to kill Palpatine? Because Palpatine is going to be in this movie, right?
Yeah, but I just think Palpatine, it'll just be like a spirit.
Yeah.
Or, something like that. I don't really think he's going to be much of anything, but, we'll see.
Yeah.
But I don't see Kylo Ren like celebrating with the Red Bulls or nothing like that. I think he's just gonna do something to kind of sacrifice himself, like get back to the good side or whatnot, and then just take off. And then Rey would be the one that would is gonna open up an academy or train more or whatever.
Yeah. Well, who's gonna kill Palpatine?
Who's going to kill Palpatine?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I guess as good as good.
Do you think?
I would like to see Kylo Ren doing that.
Yeah, me too.
And his way of redeeming himself. But, who knows how they're going to play that off?
Kind of like Vader did. It would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So.
And if you go back to the Dark Empire comic book, when Luke turns to the dark side and Leia turns him back, Luke is just playing along. You know, he's not really dark side. He's just playing along with the clone of Palpatine. You know, and then him and Leia getting up on him and kill the clone. So
but didn't
I don't know.
you tell me that Luke is kind of possessed?
Well,
that's how they did it.
Yeah, they were saying that, you know, no, it wasn't that. They were saying that Luke gets possessed by Palpatine's spirit, and then, I mean, I'm sorry, no, the Kylo Ren gets possessed by Palpatine's spirit, and in order to kill it, Rey kills him.
Yeah.
And the spirit goes out. You know, I'm kind of thinking, you know, like the way they did with like Venom on the Spider-Man, where like, you know, in order to kill it, you know, he had to bring it out. I mean, I'm talking about Spider-Man 3. I'm not talking about the new Venom movie.
Sure, yeah.
You know how they had to kill it, you know, by bringing it out and then, you know, bringing it into like a solitary thing to kill it.
I really hope they don't do that.
Yeah, I really hope either.
Yeah, I don't think that would be good.
I always feel like with these sequel movies, we should just keep it simple.
Yeah.
You know, just keep it simple. Just, you know, don't make it too complicated. It's already complicated already, but
sure.
You know.
And then that'll end it. That'll end it, or are they going to make more movies? I mean, they're going to have side stories, right?
Yeah, but no more Skywalker stuff. It'll probably be like the Old Republic movies, or there's rumors about a Solo Part 2.
Yeah, I was reading that. So.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
Solo Part 2. So what? I mean, did you like Solo?
I didn't like it, but I didn't like hate it either. It was okay.
So out of all the side stories, out of all the side movies that they've made, which one do you like the best?
Ooh.
It's not like there's many. Hold on. Yes, right? There's Solo, right?
Yeah, I think there's 4 movies so far.
Well, what are they?
Okay, it's Force Awakens, Rogue One,
Wait.
Solo,
Wait.
Jedi.
Force Awakens is not a side story, though.
Oh, well, then if you're going about backstories, there's only 2 backstories that they made.
Yeah,
it's Rogue One,
and Solo.
And Solo, but I really don't consider them backstories, though.
Well, they're not backstories. It's side stories. They're side stories.
To me, Rogue One was not even necessary.
No.
You know what? Okay, here's one thing I don't like.
Yeah.
In Rogue One, everybody says the Bothans died. No. Bothans died to get the plans of the second Death Star.
Yeah.
Not the first Death Star. I don't think any Bothans were involved in the first Death Star plans. You know.
You just went to another Star Wars nerd level that is above mine. I don't understand what you just said, but that's cool.
I read the Star Wars fans saying that the Bothans died. Bothans, to my knowledge, died for the plans of the second Death Star in Return of the Jedi. You know.
What the fuck is that, though?
What?
What you just said. What?
A Bothan?
Yes.
A Bothan is a group of people, just like it's like a race of people.
Okay. Well,
you know.
Give me an example of
Star Wars has a lot of different races. You know?
Well, give me an example of one. So what do they look like? Give me an example of one.
Okay, a Bothan. Okay, now this is going way back. Now who knows if it's changed? But this is going way back to the 90s depictions. A Bothan is a hairy creature that kind of looks like a dog without a snout.
A dog without a snout, and they're okay. Do they play any critical part in any of the Star Wars movies?
You don't ever see them. You only make reference to them by Mon Mothma in Return of the Jedi.
Oh, okay.
But you never see them. But they are in the Star Wars anthology that was printed out in the 90s.
Okay.
And there's a picture of them. It's like an encyclopedia.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to bust out my Star Wars encyclopedia, and I'll have to look and see what they look like.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's some mention of them in there, right?
So they were big. They were important to the Death Star.
of the
being
second Death
conquered.
Star.
The second Death Star. Okay.
So the plans of the second. Mon Mothra says many Bothrons died.
I
to bring
remember
us this
that. Yeah,
information.
I remember that.
Yeah. So,
Okay. Well, that's cool.
but the Rogue One had nothing to do with Bothrons.
So sticking on the Star Wars topic, have you gone to Disneyland yet and seen the? Have you been to the Star Wars land? No.
No.
But-
I just go by what people have been telling me. People
Yeah.
who have gone or are going, by what they're telling me.
Yeah, it's
But
pretty
I
crowded.
probably won't step foot there until maybe October.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think it'll die down by then. It's pretty crowded, but still.
Yeah, and they got a lot of things happening over there right now. They got a lot of construction. A lot of the parking lots are all out of wet. So I'm not really into all that hustle and bustle anyway. So
But that map you sent me,
I'm going to lay back until maybe October. I'll probably visit it or something.
that map you sent me, the text of that map, that's pretty cool. You see the Millennium Falcon, that's kind of cool.
I like the layout. It looks pretty good. I think it's kind of weird because the only entrances are going to be like through Frontierland or through Critter Country. I think that's kind of weird to me. I thought it was going to be like behind Fantasyland, like where Fairy Tale Castle, Fairy Tale Theater is, but I guess not. I guess that's not an entrance. It looks like it's going behind Thunder Mountain and behind Critter Country. So I think that whole area, New Orleans, and all, that's probably going to be really crowded.
Star Wars is just incredible. It's just, and I know a lot of people think that when Disney bought them, that was a bad thing, or and it may very well be. But think about the Star Wars versus Star Trek debate that there was back in the 80s and 90s. The fans of each sci-fi franchise were going at each other, and they were pretty equal, right? I mean, Star Wars, I think, always gave a.
I talk to that are Star Trek fans, their only glory is that there's multiple Star Treks. I mean, it has quantity, not quality.
Yeah, but Star Wars it's taken over for sure. I mean, there's nothing. Star Trek has nothing as big as Star Wars. Is some of the not just the movies, but now the attractions at Disneyland and the merchandise and everything. I mean, it's just so much.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
It's incredible. I tell you, I tripped out when I saw a Darth Vader vacuum.
Darth Vader what?
Darth Vader vacuum.
There's a Darth Vader vacuum?
Yeah, it's a little Robo vacuum brand. Those little round Robos.
Yeah.
Vacuums. Well, there's one with a Darth Vader face on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I saw was kind of cool the other day? I saw Darth Vader toast machine. Makes Darth Vader toast.
Oh, really? Yeah, see? So it's like, who would ever thought you'd see something like that?
Darth Vader everything.
I guess.
There's Darth Vader everything. It's pretty awesome. So.
Yeah, so.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Franchise Idiots podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time on another episode of the Franchise Idiots podcast.